I'll get you a new logo for down there that's taken off the virtual power line.
Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin Business Virtual Power Lunch. Please welcome your hosts, Tyler Price and Brian Magleby.
Let's go for take number 2.
Round 2, 22.
All right, yeah, take 2 and 22, Tuesday at 2 o'clock or a little bit after.
Yeah.
The internet crashed. We'll blame it on the city of Idaho Falls down here. And we get internet crashed right as we were going. Are we all up and going now? Get a thumbs up from
Got a
production.
thumbs up, yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to 2022.
We're here.
We're here.
Better than 2020 or 2021, right?
Amen. Let's flush those years away.
Not saying there weren't good things. I'm just saying those were two of my most
let's just get rid
challenging,
of the
least
freaking
favorite.
COVID things.
Yeah.
I got 2 buddies that got it in the last week, and it's just like, man, I just like to be over trying to plan vacations and everything, and it's like, man, can we really do this? So we're excited to be back here in 2022. We got some changes, as you know. We're now at 2 o'clock.
And I'm glad that I paid attention. Well, I came at noon.
He came at noon today. It's like, Tyler, you're the one that decided with me that we were going to be here at 2 o'clock. So,
like, oh yeah, it's a new year.
It's
okay. Yes.
So we're excited. We've got some big things happening this year. We're going to be giving away a prize every freaking week.
Yeah.
On the show. So
always good.
It's going to incent people to watch live. If you want to win the prize of the day, today we're going to be giving away a book. We're also going to be giving away some $50 gift cards. We got some caramel tree as well we're throwing in there.
Watch out.
So if you're
better
watching,
beat Wayne. That's all I can say.
That's right.
Not trying to say Wayne shouldn't win it. Just saying someone beat Wayne.
That's right. Yeah. So Glenn Guzman, are you talking about?
Yeah, sorry,
Glenn
Guzman.
Glenn is a favorite. He likes to win all of our packages, but he's going to be really excited because we're going to be giving away a lot this year. So every week, tune in. You can watch it on Facebook Live. We're doing it there, or on the website that goes to YouTube, and you can watch it there as well. So we got some great guests lined up for the year. We're excited to be rolling in and continuing the show in 2022, right?
Yeah, let's do this thing.
So
yep.
Let's today's guests. We've got Christine Garner. We're going to be talking about strength-based leadership, and we've got a class starting at the Innovation Center that she'll be instructing starting next Wednesday. So we'll be talking all about that there. So that's our only class that we have coming up in January. And then we've got 2 classes that we'll be talking about in coming weeks about that will be starting in February. And then a big class again in March for Grow Your Business. So we've got some changes with the show we're doing here. We're going to update our graphics. Didn't get that done today, but no longer the virtual power lunch, but we're still the Business Boys talking business.
Yeah. And I suggested virtual snack like ice cream or something.
Yeah, so we'll allow you to have some snacks.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyler said he's going to bring us some ice cream. So maybe we'll be introducing some ice cream snacks to the show. But we also have the capability of, we've added to the show that if you want to chat during the show and ask questions to our guests, it will come right here onto our screen. We'll be able to see it. So we encourage you to use that. If you have the capabilities of getting into the chat feature, I think, is it on YouTube that has the chat feature? Or Facebook? both avenues. We may be able to get the chats on the screen, so we're excited about that. And we may be tying in our winning today into people in the chat box. So we're excited about that. Please participate in that. Write down your questions, and that'll go right to us. So
There
we're
we go.
excited about that. Let's talk about our sponsors. We have the most loyal sponsors that are continuing with us this year.
Boy, BBSI, can't say enough about these men and women that run BBSI. If you have HR needs, training needs, payroll needs, I mean, whatever.
Coaching. They absolutely are. There's a lot of companies that are out there that are needing some strategic planning meetings, and they're absolutely great.
Exit strategies for future. I mean, these
top-notch
men and
guys
women
at
are
BBSI, and we appreciate
legit.
their continued sponsorship in 2022 of us. We've got the SBDC that we appreciate them. They have stepped it in again, and we are glad to the show. We couldn't come off without these people.
Yep.
The Idaho Innovation Center, New Line Media, and the Bullpine Marketing.
Yep.
And they've been calling us, texting us because of the technical difficulties that we crashed right before. And it's nice to know that we had so many people that are out there watching that are responding to us and telling us when we have things. But we should be back on and going now.
There we go.
So we're going to start today's show off. We're going to show you just today's all about strength-based leadership. And Christine is awesome. I've worked with Christine for, I think, over 6 years now. Absolutely has built a phenomenal company with her husband. She stepped away from that. She's now doing some motivational
International. I mean, this lady's legit.
She's Costa Rica. She's all over the world.
She's legit.
So we're excited to have her. She's going to be instructing this class. Maybe we could put the class up there on the screen. It's a strengths-based leadership class. It starts next Wednesday. The cost is $149. We're going to help you out with that registration fee. We're going to give away a class. We're going to give you a certificate off that class, so it'll be actually $99 for you. And we're going to give away a couple of those certificates today for the Strengths-Based Leadership class. So it's every Wednesday from 1:30 to 3 at the Idaho Innovation Center. Check out that QR code, or you can call the number there. It is starting next Wednesday. We've already got like half the room filled. So we've got
people that have taken, I don't know if it's this class or a class from her, rave about it. So if you're wondering, should I do this? The answer is yes.
This is going to be a great class for that, for the price of $149. I can guarantee you're going to get your money's worth. So we'll be talking all about that to Christine. To get Christine here onto the set, we've got a quick minute-and-a-half video, I think it is, talking about this Clifton Strengths. And so let's go ahead and watch that, and then we'll welcome Christine Garner from Envision Your Purpose.
Over the decades of studying people and studying successful people, right, we found that there were these thousands of talents that people who were successful had. So Don Clifton and his team, in researching those talents and looking at them, found that there were some things that they had in common, that these talents did have some similarities, if you will. And so through that research and through that study, we found there were 34 main categories where their similarities were consistent enough that we could sort of group them together. So those 34 categories we call the 34 themes of talent. And what that does, what having these themes does, is it puts a little bit more of a verbiage and a language around what these talents look like, right? Because the talent by itself can be tough to discuss, it can be tough to pinpoint, but by categorizing it into sort of a broader theme, it allows us to understand it a little bit better.
For a long time, we thought that you could train people, and by training them, you could create talent. You don't. You can create skills and you can create knowledge that make you more effective in what you do. Mm-hmm. And if you base that knowledge training and that skill training on strengths that you have, you'll just be a lot more effective.
Some of the words are common in our vocabulary, right? So things like communication, right, and empathy and strategic. We see those words, we get it, right? We know what those words mean. We understand sort of how we think they show up in the world. But when you think about them from how we define them as a theme of talent, well, a talent is something we're innately doing. We're not really consciously activating talent, right? It just sort of kicks in. So a lot of people will look at a word and say, ooh, I want that. I want empathy. I care about people. But understanding that the talent that sort of natural way of doing it, you can't really choose to do that or not. That's just either who you are or is who you aren't.
Well, fantastic. So you saw an opportunity to get involved in coaching. And what is it about this Envision Your Purpose that inspired you to leave a very successful, well, working with a spouse is hard, but take that out of the equation.
Yeah.
But to leave a very successful business to go and pursue from ground zero again, something else. What's the drive behind that?
You know, I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to start and really spearhead Teach on Smart Security with my husband. It was such an incredible opportunity, and I learned so much. I did it for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, I decided that I passion. And as I was creating my vision board for the upcoming year, I asked myself, if money and time wasn't an issue, what would I be doing with my life? And I just had this vision of empowering women in business to overcome their fears and a life that truly fulfills them. I had this vision of taking women to Costa Rica or a tropical location, which and dive deep into personal discovery of who it is that they are and what their purpose is in life. Because ultimately, a lot of us are living.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and then I used this tool from Gallup, which is one of the world's largest analytics firms. They study human performance and human development. So I started using this with my clients one-on-one and found that it was the most incredible fear bulldozer I've ever seen. And so I was like, if this could do so much for an individual, what could this do for an organization? And so I became certified through them. So I'm a Gallup Global Strengths Coach, where I can help individuals as well as teams to create a strengths-based culture where people want to come to work.
And you kind of touched on fear a little bit, because I have a saying, I didn't coin it and I don't know who did, but it's fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. And so what is it that you're like, what part of the inspiration of, okay, you have these people that now are entrusting in you and they have to get vulnerable and there's all these steps. So what is it that helps them to overcome that fear?
Well, using this tool, what I found is when people actually know what they're good at, it allows them to say, you know what, screw the fact that I'm not good at details, because that's me.
Yeah.
I'm not good at details, paperwork. There's a whole variety of things that I'm not great at in business, but then there's certain things that I'm so good at. And once I actually tapped that in my own business, because the first 3 years of my business, I made less than minimum wage. It was horrific.
Yeah.
It was agonizing. But when I actually identified my own strengths and started using those, I can see this, you know, that's my zone of genius. Operating in for them to truly live a fulfilling career in a life. So that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity of working with Christine's company and working with her and seeing her business grow over the last 6 years, and she's done just exactly what she said there. Is she worked the first few years was probably pretty minimum wage, and then
less
to see
than minimum wage.
where you've
It's
taken
not.
that company and was able to leave, let your husband run that company, and I'm glad that you're taking on this new challenge, and we're excited to have you teaching our class starting next Wednesday. So whether it's you're an individual in a company or if you have a team, we've already had one business that signed up 8 of their employees for the class, and that's how important. When they heard about it and we explained the class, he's like, sign every one of my managers up for it, and immediately we had that kind of response from it. So talk to us about what the class is going to be like.
Awesome. So it's about strengths-based leadership, and oftentimes we think, oh, well, am I a leader? Well, the truth of the matter is you probably lead in some capacity. You're a mother, a teacher, a spouse, you know, you're leading something, right, in your life, and this is ultimately, it really benefits businesses, right, if you're a manager or a leader of some sort. But ultimately, it's going to be talking about the 3 key differentiators in amazing leaders. So number one is amazing leaders. They know their strengths and they invest in their strengths, meaning they invest time and energy. And then not only that, but they invest time and energy into developing their followers or the people that they lead. So that's number one. Number two is getting the right people in the right positions in your business. So huge.
Right seats on the bus.
Yes, the right
Yep.
people
Talk
on the
about
bus.
that all
Yes.
the time.
Yep.
And then number three is understanding and meeting the 4 basic needs of the people that you lead. There's been a study that has done on over a billion working teams, and it's been unanimous on what it is that they need. And so basically the 4.
Oh, that's our training today. You
Oh,
can't, you can't
actually,
give
I don't know.
Oh, we
that
can.
out.
Okay, all right. So
We'll be-
there's 4
Stay
basic
tuned.
needs.
I never would
You're
have
gonna
stopped
learn.
you, just so you know.
Yeah.
I would have
Okay,
let you go.
well,
I don't want to give away our training.
Okay.
You got to watch till the end of the show
Yeah.
to get that.
Now-
So yes, we have 4 basic needs.
Cut you off.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to know them in order to be able to meet.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when I actually became a certified coach, I didn't actually know the chaos that was actually happening in the workplace when it comes to the amount of people.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the
Yeah.
Great Resignation?
I love it.
Well, Gallup is actually huge, said the world's largest analytic firms, and they did a huge study on the great why it is that people are
Yeah.
quitting their jobs. And I think oftentimes we think in Idaho we're not as affected like COVID didn't really knock us out right? So we think, oh, people are probably jobs, but the truth of the matter is Idaho is actually the second leading state in quitting. jobs.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you, go back to the other screen again,
Yeah.
that I walked into the office yesterday and got the first thing I got as I pulled into the parking lot was the resignation from the chairman of my board
Yeah.
of directors.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
So
Very
it
cool.
was it sparked things off the very beginning of the year. The first thing I was hit with was the resignation of the chairman of my board of directors.
I think it's a kind of a renaissance of things here, and it is. And now they still got to go do something, because I've had this conversation with people that have quit and they haven't really filled the void of a career. Sometimes they take jobs that are just making it so that they're becoming minimalists, basically. So they need very little to live on, which is cool. But I do think that sustainability wise, that we need people to step up into a concept or a service or a business to really solidify and take the void of, okay, all these people left because they're tired of the way employers treated them.
Yep.
And now go do something.
And
Because if you don't, the tables are going to get flipped and the employers are going to be mean back, because there's a level of mean, I don't know that it's intently mean, but there's a level of, screw you, I'm out of here. And now you come back with your hat in your hand saying, actually, I need a job. That is not a good space to be in.
No.
So what and go ahead now that I've cut you off.
No, it's all right. The thing that I've seen Christine's company done, if she's embraced this strengths finding leadership, that she's adapted the people in her company to their strengths, and now they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the question is, like, why are people quitting in droves, right? I mean, in the U.S. in July of just this last year alone, over 4 million jobs.
That's amazing.
So how and why, right? Like, what are these people doing? Do they just not need money? And the truth of the matter is, during the pandemic, people had a lot of time to think, right? Did you not have enough time to think?
Yeah.
That was a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
And
That's a
they're
scary
like,
place in my head. let me tell you.
seriously. and people actually start getting these awesome,
Why?
Yeah, like they're like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right? Do I really want to go back to this job that, like, my boss doesn't even, he hasn't even, like, told me how great I am in the last 18 months or whatever the case might be. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and they want to be in a place where they can feel like, I have a purpose here.
Yeah.
And so if they don't feel that way, they're disengaged, and disengagement. And so this is why I'm so passionate about strengths, is when people actually know how to utilize them, and their manager knows them, then the rate of them actually being 6 times.
Yeah.
Part of this class is that you're going to take the test that will tell you what your strengths are, and then you'll utilize that in learning through the class. And that's why this one business, Tyson Daniels, he's been a guest on our show. That he signed up every single one of his managers when he said, "This is I value my managers, and I want them to be to make sure that they're fitting right into our organization." And he signed up every single one of them when we talked to him about the class last month. And
retaining employees, he's got a boatload of employees.
Yeah, 50+ employees.
To replace one of them is costly, but to replace 5, 6, 7, that's so much time and energy and money. And it's really important that we as leaders recognize how it is. Not only that, but keep that work.
No, and I'll say my wife, and I'm sure you do a great job of this as well, but she is amazing because in our business, our director of education, who's been with us for over a decade, is leaving to pursue some dreams. And we support that. So it wasn't like, it was like, well, it's kind of like, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we are happy for you. And all she did was turn to the rest of the staff and started inviting certain ones to step up into new roles. And so she's really developed that. And if companies don't take that opportunity to say, if our key people leave, we are happy for them, but we're also going to fill the void with people, because if you have to bring someone from the inside, the cost of training that person from the outside.
To recruit and train.
It's just through the roof. So I do think that part of it is companies need to be happy for key people that move on. We do.
I lost one of my employees for over 5 years at the end of December. And all I could say is, when you're moving up and moving on, I support you 110%.
Yeah.
We refilled that, and it's actually worked out for, I can say, the best now that so the right things happen for the right reasons, but we want to
But not every time.
Yeah.
Not every time.
But we learn. Those are learning opportunities too.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
But this class is going to be able to teach you what your strengths are as leaders in the company, whether it's a company or home. I think she mentioned that it's key things that we're going to be talking about in this class that are proven technologies that they've searched with for years. This company. So talk to us about this test that they're going to be taking.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a 20-minute test, and basically you answer a series of questions based on your instincts. They only give you 20 seconds per question, and at the end it's going to tell you your top 5 strengths. And it's so powerful, because oftentimes, even with me, I feel like I'm very into who I am, but when I first took the test, I was like, wow, I didn't actually know that this was a mind.
Yeah.
So my number one strength is actually activator, and what that means is when I have an idea that I love, I don't skip, hop, and jump to it. I freaking gallop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go full speed, and that's a strength that I have, and that has really served me so well in my business in sales, because my husband was over the technical side of the business, and I was over the sales department. And for me, it was like I'd be driving down the road and I see, somebody digging up the ground, excavating. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to call, I'm going to call the person on the sign or whatever. I'm going to call whoever I need to call, and I'm going to tell them, hey, I'd love to provide you a bid. Are you interested? And so I don't think twice when I know that it's idea.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that that's actually a strength of mine.
Yeah.
And so it's so amazing when you know that it's a strength. You're like, I just used that.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I'm going to continue to use this because this has been so profitable for me. And it's also really fulfilling when you're strengths and not trying to beat up for the things you're not good at.
Yeah, but I think it's a great course for not only owners, but for managers in their company. And if you want to be or if you eventually want to be a manager, to learn what your strengths are so you can provide them.
Well, it's a great course for the 4 million people that walked off their jobs too, right? They should all be.
They should all be in this class too. So talk to us about this new company, Envision Your Purpose.
Okay, thank you. So like I said, I started it to help women, first of all. I really do specialize. There's 2 different demographics that I serve, and one of them is women in business, I'm really passionate about that because I know what it's like to struggle in business. And I had so many limiting beliefs, so many things that were blocking me that I was able to overcome. And I still, still struggle with from time to time. And I have to use tools and techniques to be able to overcome those things. And then I've dove into teaching organizations because tool has been so powerful that I'm like, if I can help one individual with her life and her business, if I were to take this to the whole, what could that do for the world? And so I really feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. Yeah. This great resignation is something that we've never seen in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And this, I'm certified to help businesses to retain their employees. And not only that, but create a culture of engagement where people actually want to come to work.
Yeah.
They want to perform. They feel like they're this meaningful contributor to the business. And it lights me on fire because truly my passion is human development. And whether I'm serving a woman in business or
So you did grow up kind of in a situation that was very confining, for lack of a better term, challenging,
yes.
all
Okay.
these types of things.
So, yes.
So how was it that you were able, because from your youth to where you are now, your mindset is not the same. And I know we grow and evolve as people, but what were some of the contributing factors that helped you get to a place now where you're like, I can help other people as well?
Yeah, thank you. So it really boils down to purpose. And I know that we've talked about this in a prior episode. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people tiptoe around it, but I'm just going to stomp right on it.
Yeah, I love it.
So I was raised in a doomsday cult from the age of 7 to 17. Basically, my mom came home one day from work, lived in Portland, Oregon. They lived a pretty normal childhood up until then. And she said, I met a man who God and banged up the very few short months. And so she looked at my dad and she said, if you love us, if you love your kids, you're going to help me this house. And we followed him to Pocatello, Idaho.
Oh, wow.
OMG,
Ouch.
right?
Yeah.
Like the man.
Red flag number 1. Probably red flag number 2.
Yeah.
But,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Pocatello, we have some good quality listeners down there.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway.
Let's not go into
Yeah.
Pocatello. However, not the land of milk and honey that I was expecting, but I was literally raised in poverty and fear from the age of 7 to 17. At the age of 17, I was introduced to who God really is. And I had never known that he was somebody that actually cared about me and that he had a purpose for me that was far beyond just trying to survive doom. And when I realized that, it gave me the power to escape. And since then, I have done everything that they told me that I would never be able to do. They told me I'd never graduate from high school. I'd never have the opportunity. That I would never have the opportunity to go to college or have a family or career. And I've been able to do all of those things and more. And I feel like if I can do this, what can other people do if they actually? Of course, your purpose evolves as you evolve, as mine has for me. But that's why I named my company Envision Your Purpose, because you're like a ship without a rudder if you don't know why you're here.
Yeah.
So.
Well said. So that's exciting things. She's just full of these kind of things, and if you want to learn more, you got to show up next Wednesday to the class. So
next Wednesday.
So envision your purpose. We love that the changes that you're making with your company. We wish, of course, I wish that your husband's company the best. It's still your company, but
I am still majority owner, y'all.
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Sean,
get
to work.
So we appreciate you being here. I just wanted to, when we have the guests be on the show, we have them fill out a little questionnaire, and I just want to put some small business advice that she put out there, that she put on here, because I think every business out there needs to hear these kind of advice. Love people more than money. Focus on a win-win. We've talked about that. Under promise, over deliver. Treat your employees the way you want to be treated. Focusing on their strengths is far more powerful in encouraging growth than focusing on their weaknesses. And That's what it's all about. If you want to have a good 2022, those are some great advice there. So Christine, talk to us about this quote that you have here, your quote that you gave to us. I know you posted this on Facebook this week because you're very passionate about it. Tell us about it.
Well, it goes like this. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. And this is by Abraham Lincoln. I love this quote because isn't it so true that like sometimes we feel like we're living Groundhog's Day?
Yes,
like
every day.
And I've seen this even on social media when they're like, "Oh, happy 2022," and they're like, "Oh, it's probably going to be just like 2021."
I hope not.
And yes, but here's the fact of the matter: it can be the same if you live on autopilot. However, if you're really living with intention and like on purpose, with a purpose, your life can be so full and really leave a legacy for the people that you love. So that's what it's about.
Great.
I love that.
Fantastic.
So thank you for sharing that. We are excited for 2022, whether we may not show it in everything that we do, but we're excited to be here. Tyson, next week we're going to have some snow on those mountains behind us. It has been a week of little snow capped. So we appreciate you being here, Christine Min Garner. How do they get in contact with you? Find out more about you.
You can find me on Facebook. That's where I'm most active. So you can find me at Christine Ming Garner, just the way it's spelled on the screen. Ming is my middle name, my Vietnamese name. So you can connect with me on there. You can always DM me. You can also find me on my website at www.ming-ming.com.
Very good. So we appreciate that. We are excited about the class. We've never had so many people sign up for this class early because the more we talked about it, we already have a somewhat full room. But
Nice.
We've got we're hoping that this is going to be our largest attended class in the last couple of years by far. So we're excited about that. We're going to be doing a little training segment here at the end and talking about those 4 things that she almost started talking about.
Yeah.
But before that, we are going to watch a video that's one of my favorites. You got to understand, on leadership, this is one of my go-to topics at all times. I've spoken at many conferences and different organizations about leadership. As I was walking out, I started going through all my books, and I've got Leadership for Dummies, of course. That's the book I bought for you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
But
This is one of my-
Leadership and Self-Deception.
That's one of my favorite books.
Leadership Secrets from the Executive Office. And then this one here that I've used many times in presentations. It's called The Essence of Leadership. And this, we're going to show just a quick, I think, 2-minute video here. That's just kind of a motivational thing about leadership. It's got some great points in it. Watch the points that it talks about on there. This is put out by Mac Anderson. He's a founder of Successories. So a quick video here on leadership, and then we're going to come back and let Christine talk about those 4 points that she almost started talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great, powerful
Wow.
video. It's one of my favorites, absolutely, is you set new goals for the year 2022. Encourage you to reach out and watch that video again, because it's just all the points in there are just crucial for you to as you make changes in 2022. So, Christine, you started mentioning these 4 domains of team strength. You were going to go into that. Now it's the time. Tell us,
Okey-dokey.
enlighten us about the 4 domains of team strength.
Are you ready to be?
We
I
are.
am.
Friends?
I
Okay.
am.
All right. Well, this is the interesting thing. In Gallup, of course, there's so many different studies, and this is one of the 4 things. So actually, I was talking about the 4 basic needs of your employees, and this is actually the 4 domains of team strength. So I'm actually going to talk to you about this, and then I'll also talk to you about the other things. So the neat thing about the Clifton Strengths, once you take the assessment, it's going to tell you your top 5. Okay, you have the opportunity to purchase the top 34 because there's 34 themes of strengths. However, they actually are all categorized into these 4 domains. So one is executing, the next one's influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. And so there's one that you typically lead with. And for me, it's the influence. And then the next one is my strategic thinking. And it's just really neat to see as leaders, oftentimes it is the influencing, the relationship building, and that is strong. We actually really struggle with executing. And that is why it's super important that that we focus on getting the right people in class, because we're surrounding ourselves with people who are smarter than us, better than us, have the stamina, better stamina and focus than we do, in order to truly build a business that is going to be successful. And so those are the 4 domains of team strengths. However, when we're talking about the 4 basic needs of the people that we lead, it boils down to, number 1 is trust, number 2 is compassion, number 3 is stability, and number 4 is hope. And oftentimes people are like, well, how is it that you build trust in your employees? And there's a variety of answers, but it really, the beautiful thing about the Clifton Strengths is once you actually know your Clifton Strengths, you'll see how it just comes so naturally to you to build trust in the way that is, like I said, natural to you. So for me, the way that I build trust, that I lead with my activator strength. And for me to build trust with my employees is when I say something, I need to do it immediately. They know that I'm a quick like I act quickly. And if I take too much time, they're like, oh, I even trust that she said she was with you. Also, my second strength is woo, which means winning others over. And basically it boils down to, I love connecting with people. Okay. And so building trust with my employees looks like this. When I give people compliments, because it's so easy for a compliment to just fly out of my mouth, because I love people and I love uplifting people. But in order to truly build trust, I need to not just try to like boost their ego, but truly give them compliments that are true and genuine. Because if I'm not giving them true and genuine compliments, they can't trust that what I'm saying is actually. So it's really neat to be able to know, hey, how am I going to meet the basic needs of my employees, but also in a way that is authentic to me.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, these
Very
are the
good.
4 things that we'll be talking about in the class. If any of this sparks any kind of interest in you, encourage you. If you want to put that flyer back up, people can take a snapshot of the QR code that leads them right to the registration. Another thing I wanted to kind of add in there, that leading right onto this, is the strategic thinking. If your business needs some strategic thinking about it, we will do a strategic planning meeting for your company. And if that interests you in the direction of where your company's going, I would love to help facilitate that. So reach out to us at the SBDC and we can help do that. But let's talk about this. If you would like this flyer, put your name in the chat box and your email, and we can get this flyer to you to get you all of the details on it. This is what the class is all about. We'll be meeting 3 Wednesdays, the next 3 Wednesdays, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, the 12th, 19th, and 26th of January. It will be at the Innovation Center from 1:30 to 3. We also can facilitate it being done by Zoom. If you happen to be out of the area, we can help you do this. The cost of the class is $149, and we will, but we're going to give away 2 certificates to that class that will give you $50 off. So,
oh yeah, Grandma.
So we've got some books. So I understand our YouTube chat is working, but our Facebook is not. So if you're on Facebook, you're going to need to text me. And a lot of you know my texting number, 208-520-9400. We'll get that up on the screen.
The bold
here.
man giving out his cell phone number.
That's right. So if you can talk about, there it is there, if you want to do that, or you can put it into the chat box. We're going to first of all give away this book, Strengths-Based Leadership from Gallup, and this is a $25 book, I think, $25 book. If you buy this, it's by Don Clifton, what Christine's been talking all about today. So we're going to give away this book, and to get this, you're going to have to. Christine does a retreat, is planning a retreat next year, and we've mentioned the name of that place at the very beginning of the show. If you can text or put in the chat there it's a 2-word place. Country.
Yep.
That you can, if you can get that, you will get this book. Now, we're going to give away 2 $50 certificates. Now, if you are watching this live, or you may be watching it after the show, you're welcome to still try to get this, because we're going to give away 2 of them. So either text it or put it in the chat box. If you can tell us what the 4 strengths, one of the 4 strengths that she talked about there in our training. It was on the screen for quite a while. They're still there on the screen if you can read that, if your guys are good enough to read that. But if you can text us, the first 2 people, if you're interested in taking the Strengths-Based Leadership class, we will give you $50 off. All you got to do is come up with one of those 4 strengths there that we will be discussing in the class. And you'll be taking the class.
My money's on Glenn.
Glenn, I'll bet you if I put my phone. Guess what?
Glenn's already.
He's already won it. He's already won the book. He's won more books.
Money's always on Glenn.
We love Glenn Guzman. So, Glenn, you have this book. I will have it at the Innovation Center for you. But we still have $2 $50 if you would like to take the class. I have 2 $50 discounts off the class, so you'll take the class for $99. And here's my guarantee with all of our classes that we do through the SBDC at the Innovation Center, is that if you do not like the class after the first week, or even at the end of the class, I will refund your money 100%. That's how guaranteed I am that our classes are worth the time and the effort and the money of each one of our classes. So that's my personal guarantee. It's a money back guarantee, but if you want $50 off that class, then text us or tell us what one of the strengths were. So we didn't mention the last show we had, which was 2 weeks ago. We got a nice week off last week.
Yeah, we did. It was good.
But we had Kelly Benyon with the Challenger Palette. Man, and he was a great visitor. Next week we have another great visionary person that is, I call him the networking master, Ryan Harris. He's going to be with us next week, talking all about how to best network your business in the year 2022. So,
exciting.
Did we miss anything?
No, I think we're all there. Our first guest for the year just kicked it off.
That's right, and she didn't wear green like she did last time. Last time she was kind of going in and out.
I was a talking head.
It was awesome.
That's all it was.
That's right. You could only see her skin there. So otherwise, she was incognito. So we appreciate her not wearing green today, and we're excited about teaching the class. And tune in next week. Remember, Tuesdays at 2.
I'll remember.
Next week.
Tuesday at 2.
So thanks everybody for tuning in today. Have a great week and set your goals high.
So I've been a strengths devotee for a long time, for about 15 years. And one of my favorite quotes, so a personal mantra of mine, is a quote from Howard Thurman. And he said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do that, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive." And for me, the power of StrengthsFinder within an organization is to tap into those talents and those strengths that when they are applied productively and when they're recognized and when they're called out, they truly make people come alive. And we would call that engagement. I call it being fully alive in your work, not sleepwalking, not just going through your day on autopilot, but feeling engaged and alive because your talents are on display and they're being used to their maximum potential.
Well, what appealed to me about using Clifton Strengths is sometimes when you're rolling out assessments, individuals can be skeptical and not buy into it. But with Strengths, one of the things that really drew me in was that they're all positive. So there's no bad combination, and it's not someone trying to trick the survey or trick the assessment, because whatever you get, that's just what you naturally do well. So there is no right or wrong, better or worse. This is who you are, and we want to know who you are.
Just the revolutionizing concept that you would look at your talents and strengths and develop those, and how much more capability there was to do things great by doing your talent, by focusing on your talents and strengths. It immediately resonated with me and became quickly kind of my focus in my development of myself, my staff. Everyone I worked with heard about Strengths and continues to hear about it. I would say that Clifton Strengths provides an affirming language for your talents and strengths. We have lots of language, even for talents and strengths, that is negative, where it calls out the dark side, or what sometimes is referred to as the basement of a talent. I love that StrengthsFinder and the descriptions of the themes gives you a language that describes you at your greatest. And so I would encourage anybody, if you were the person here asking me that, why should I do this? Wouldn't you want to have descriptions of your greatest talents and great affirming words that you can use to explain to others, so that you can then have those explanations and those understandings from that point of view, which you can then go on and use for great performance in your life.
It gives us common language to understand and give life to who we are and who we see others as, and how we can work together to make that better.
Personally, the understanding and awareness of my strengths has really helped me figure out what to say yes to. So I love to stay busy, but I figured out I need to stay busy doing things that give me energy and not drain me. So it really is my decision-making compass now. So if it's something that allows me to leverage my talents, I say yes. And if it's something I feel like my talents won't be able to be utilized, then I tend to step away from that. So it's been really powerful personally for my career.
I would say accessibility. So for us to be able to take strengths to a food and nutrition department as well as a marketing department and see the same kind of aha moments, I think it is so simplistic in its complexity. They do the assessment, but yet it's so accessible and instantly easy to apply. I think we could give all the worksheets and assessments and everything we want, but if it's too complicated, or they get back to their teams or their areas or their hospitals and say, it's great that I know this, but nobody else on my team knows it, or no one else in the hospital knows it, so I'm not going to apply it, and eventually it dies away. But I feel strengths is something that's a very common conversation. The way that StrengthsFinder breaks down the definitions of the 34 types, I think is just easily accessible and easy to have conversations that we see take off almost immediately among teams. We don't have to follow up a whole lot because they're already creating those common dialogues before we're even leaving the room.
It doesn't give me everything to work on. It doesn't try and make me be all things to all people. It's just a very simplistic approach, but has such success because you're not focusing on so many different things and trying to be so many different things to so many people. It's not buried in metrics. It's not buried in graphs and charts, and it is just a very basic understanding of who I am and how I can be most successful in my job every day. in influencing, you know, the people that I have accountability for.